Hello my beautiful friends, it's Amanda here, and today we're talking about a new palette from Too Faced. This is the Pumpkin Spice palette. I was so excited as soon as this palette was sneak peeked because I love these little holiday palettes from Too Faced every year. This will be the first of two very distinct holiday releases from Too Faced. They'll do a more Christmassy collection once we get a little closer to holiday. That will be the big sets with the crazy packaging, the huge palettes, and all the little minis, and there'll be a Sephora one and an Ulta one, and that stuff tends to be very Christmas trees and snowman, and I think that's more of a gift-giving holiday release. Whereas this one that comes first, in the past 2 years, it was the Gingerbread Spice palette, and then we had Gingerbread Extra Spicy. Last year there was a little Gingerbread Man bronzer. We get a new Melted Matte liquid lip every year with this, and I think this tends to be more, at least in my opinion, this is more of the makeup lover, you know, palette junkie collector type of release. And in general, I think that the quality tends to be better on this first smaller holiday release versus those big giftable sets. That's just my opinion. That's the way I see it. For those reasons, I'm always really excited about this first smaller holiday launch from Too Faced. I really enjoyed both the Gingerbread Spice and Extra Spicy palettes, so I definitely have high hopes for this collection. I want to give you all of the details about it before I give you my review. I also have the Pumpkin Spice Melted Matte that goes with this palette. I've been a fan of the Too Faced Melted Matte formula for many years. It's one of my favorite matte liquid lipstick formulas on the market. Even as I've sort of pulled away from wearing matte lips, I still find this formula to be one of the most comfortable, one of the prettiest, and just all around easiest to use. We are seeing some special packaging here. The little pumpkin pie lid, I think that's just so cute. It's very Too Faced. The Pumpkin Spice Melted Matte is retail priced at $22 US. I am wearing it on my lips today so you can see what it looks like on. But I also want to give you a swatch comparison with the last 2 years' releases. We have the Gingerbread Man and the Gingerbread Girl melted matte lipsticks as well. So I just want to show you a little side-by-side arm swatch here so that you can see the difference. They all have that similar warm orangey undertone, but Pumpkin Spice is significantly lighter. It has more of like a pinky orange to it. I have liked all of them, but so far Pumpkin Spice is my favorite. I just feel like it suits me the most personally. Now let's talk about the palette. Like I said, I purchased mine from Ulta. It is available from Ulta, Sephora, and the Too Faced website. This one's priced at $49 US, and it has 18 eyeshadow shades inside. This is their tin packaging. It's the same shape and size as their chocolate bar palettes, and the details on here are raised, so there is some texture. I always like that detail. It just makes it feel a little bit more special, a little bit more fancy. I love fancy things. And this does have a magnetic closure. When we look inside, there is a mirror in here, and then we have all 18 shades laid out with the shade names. And we do have a variety of finishes in here. There are 3 different finishes, but this palette is mostly matte shades. 12 of the 18 shadows are true mattes. We don't have any micro glitter mattes in this palette, which I'm very happy to see because I'm not a big fan of glittery mattes. Then we have 2 shimmers here that are a softer shimmer, more of a satiny shimmer. And then the 4 remaining metallic shades are more foily metallics. Like most Too Faced palettes, this is scented. It has a pumpkin spice scent, and it does smell different from the past 2 years releases that were a gingerbread spice scent. This smells distinctly different. I don't know if it's because my gingerbread palettes are 1 and 2 years old, so they've lost some of their potency, but this one is a lot more noticeably strongly scented than the gingerbread palettes. But again, it might just be because this is brand new and these are from 2018 and 2019. So the Melted Matte is pumpkin spice scented as well. I always like to mention the fragrances because I know a lot of people either don't like fragrance in their makeup or have some sort of reaction to it. So yes, these are quite fragrant. I really like scented makeup. It doesn't bother me at all. I don't have any sensitivity to it. And I especially like this scent because it smells exactly like a Michael's craft store. If you've ever been to a Michael's craft store, you know exactly what I'm talking about. It's that spicy, cinnamony, I don't even know how to describe it other than it smells like a Michael's craft store. That's what this pumpkin spice scent reminds me of. Let's go ahead and take a look at the swatches of this pumpkin spice palette. I will be showing you both finger and brush swatches on the inside of my arm with no primer down first, just the shadows straight onto my skin. The finger swatches will be on top and then each brush swatch will be directly below. For my brush swatches, I'll use my e.l.f. flat eyeshadow brush and I'll clean the brush off in between each shade using my Viramono color switch. That way there's no shadow transfer between swatches. So let's take a look at those swatches now. I decided to break these swatches up into two different groups because there are a lot of shades in this palette. I wanted you to really be able to appreciate the individual swatches. So this is the first half of the palette. Here we're getting our more traditional fall colors, those warm orangey colors and olivey greens. Now we move on to the second half of the palette, and I love these shades all year round, so I won't say that they aren't fall colors because I love purple and I'll wear it in any season. I really appreciate these cooler tones too, especially these two mauvey mattes just swatched really, really beautifully. Now that you've seen the palette swatched, I want to show you some comparisons between this pumpkin spice palette and the past 2 years gingerbread theme palettes. There is quite a bit of overlap. I really want to show you the whole color story laid out all at once. That way you can really see where that overlap lies, because it's there for sure. It's definitely there. So let's take a look at those comparisons now. First comparison is with the 2018 palette. This is the Gingerbread Spice palette. And what I want to do is put some little asterisk on the screen for the shades that I think are really similar with both color and finish. That way you can really see where the true overlap lies. Even though these do look super similar across the board, I totally agree. The main differences we're getting here are in finishes or these little bits of undertone, and overall pumpkin spice isn't as warm across the board as either one of these palettes, Gingerbread Spice or Gingerbread Extra Spicy, which we're looking at now. You can see Extra Spicy is very, very warm. I'm also going to give you those little asterisks here. That way you can just see what I'm seeing. And Pumpkin Spice is much different from Gingerbread Extra Spicy because it does have those purples. It's kind of throwing back to the original Gingerbread Spice that also had quite a few purple shades in there. For both of these past palettes, I would say they are definitely similar, but not dupes. Hopefully you found those comparison swatches to be useful. There is 100% no denying there's a decent amount of overlap color story wise across all three of these palettes through the years. Personally, I don't have a problem with it. I can see why that would turn some people off from wanting to, keep purchasing the subsequent palettes. Totally understandable. Nobody wants to have 5 of the same shade over and over again. I think it makes sense that there's a decent amount of overlap through these palettes for a couple reasons. I think it would be weird if there wasn't a cohesive color story throughout, just because these are supposed to be all from the same family of products, that warm orangey, mustardy yellow, kind of warm browns. If those weren't in every single palette, personally I think that would be kind of odd. It makes sense that there's a lot of color story cohesion. And because these are pretty limited items, these aren't limited to the point where, oh, you can only get them this fall. They do stick around for a while, but it's not like now that Pumpkin Spice is out, you could go back and buy the other gingerbread palettes. They're not being they're not available anymore. So that also makes sense. It's like if you missed the gingerbread spice or extra spicy, now when you get this pumpkin spice, you're still getting some of that same feeling. So in that way, it makes sense to me. I see this palette getting a lot of criticism online on Instagram from not being orange enough. Like, why is this a pumpkin spice palette when there's so many not pumpkin colors in here? And that's pretty valid too. I imagine that if this was a very orange, warm brown kind of palette across the board, it would get criticism for that, for being done before or for being even more similar to the past gingerbread palettes. It's kind of a catch-22 in that way, because if it was all orange, it would be boring, done before, you know, Morphe 350 all over again. And now that it has all these other colors, it's not orange enough. So, you know, I can see both sides of that. Personally, I really like this color story. I'm not really wanting this to be a pumpkin palette. I'm wanting it to be a fall palette. And I feel like I'm getting some really great fall shades here. I love this olive green shade, this one called Sweetie Pie. This matte is so beautiful. I'm not even really a big green girl, but I love mustardy shades. So this sort of mustardy olive green, it's really interesting to me. It's fall, it's pumpkin-ish, but it's not so basic. It feels a little bit more elevated color story wise. This green section here, it's really cool. It's a little bit different. It's not necessarily what I would expect from Too Faced. I really like that. And this whole bottom row here having some cooler tones, a lot of great purples. If you know me, purple is my favorite eyeshadow color. So I was thrilled when I saw this one called PSL and Chill is so, so pretty. I really like the mix of warm and cool. I like all the colors that they put in here. There's no dreaded pop of color. There really is a good variety of colors here. That's really the main reason why I'm not going to include a tutorial in this video. I want to do a 3 looks 1 palette with this pumpkin spice palette, because this has a lot to offer eye look wise. I can imagine myself getting a quick, soft, kind of peachy look. What I'm wearing today is more going for the fall. I really wanted that fall pumpkin spice type of vibe for my eye look today. You could definitely do something more cool toned. You can go purple, you can go deep and dramatic, you can go a little bit softer and lighter. Overall, I understand the criticisms for the color story, but personally I really like it. It screams fall to me. It's really interesting. It's really out of the box for Too Faced, but it still feels true to this family of products. I was very, very impressed with the mattes in this palette. I've only struggled with 2 of them. This purple matte shade called Spice of Life, and to a lesser degree, this dark pink matte shade called You Spicy. Those 2 I do have to build up to get them to be really smooth, but the other mattes in here are really soft, really blendable, super, super easy to work with. I like the shimmers. I like both of the shimmer formulas. I can imagine not everybody will like this really foily formula, because it is, you can see it's on my eyes right now, it's super bright, super metallic, very opaque, but it does tend to be a little bit more of a flaky formula, if that makes sense. It's something personally I would recommend to be applied with a fingertip or a damp brush, not necessarily a dry brush. Although the swatches that I showed you were with a dry brush, and I think that they look pretty good. I know it doesn't sound good to describe them as flaky. I'm sure that it makes them sound chunky, but I like these really metallic foily shades to be a little bit drier, because they tend to stay put on the eye a lot better. When you get those really foily shades that are super emollient, at least for me, those are the type of shimmers that tend to crease and wear off really quickly on my eye. So I'm sure everybody's gonna have different feelings about that formula, but personally I like it for the reasons that I gave you. No one should be surprised that I love this collection. This is everything I want a holiday release to be. It's cute, it's fun, it's interesting, but it's still approachable. It smells good, it has great packaging, great formulas. overall, I'm a big fan of this palette. I really enjoy it. Same goes for the lip color. Now's the time when I want to hear what you think about this collection. I always love to hear what you think about things too, so make sure you leave all your thoughts down in the comments below. And as always, thank you so much for watching. I'll see you in my next video. Bye! Wait, there's no shatter transfers? Wow. Spicy. So spicy. I mean, my lip color matches my shirt and my nails match my eyeshadow, so fall AF up in here. Even though it's still like 90 degrees outside, it's fine. And I'm covered in mosquito bites. Weird. I'm weird. If you haven't noticed, it's fine. I like it. Gingerbread palettes of your... What? What is this? What's happening? Have we seen sneak peeks of the MAC holiday yet? I don't think I have. Huh. That's another one I always look forward to. I'm gonna have to go do some stalking, but I haven't seen any sneak peeks of it yet. Ooh, what was that? I keep looking at this metallic shade on my eyelids and it's just so pretty. I love it. I love it. What am I trying to say? I don't even know. Did I get a thumbnail? Man, I'm just like, I do not have it together today, which is misleading because it implies that I do have it together on other days. Sad but true. Alright, anyway. Okay, now I gotta go edit this video so that you can see those comparisons, and I hope you have a great day, and I love your face, and I hope you know what Michael's Craft Store smells like, because it just sounds weird if I say it and you don't know what that means. Okay, have a great day, love your face, bye!